quite figure out how, given who you say you are, you are grappling still with issues of self-love.
All right. How many have an issue with that? Everyone?
Can you repeat the question, please?
How many of you expect Jesus to be perfect? Yeah.
No, I don't expect that.
No, I know.
My experience of Jesus, and I have experienced him.
Yeah.
It's always been of a being with extraordinary capacity to love.
Yep.
So, and I have an idea that if one has a capacity to love, to give love, that first one has to love oneself.
True.
That's where I come from in that question. So this is where I'm a bit confused.
Sure.
I have that.
Here's all the spheres, and there was spheres up to 22nd sphere, right? All through that life, I never had any emotional damage at all, right? So I have the amount of divine love in my soul that enables me to live in that location. But as soon as I reincarnated, and this applies to my soulmate as well when she reincarnated, and remember that it has been prophesied in the Bible and other places that I was going to do this, that I was going to return, right? What happens is the emotional damage from my parents starts straight away filtering into my soul. And the memories that I have of all of that life, that 2,000 years in my case of life, start triggering all of these new emotions that I now need to deal with. You follow me? Now, I could have chosen to re-enter the earth without reincarnation. Because when you're in the 22nd sphere state, you can create a body at will. So you can actually...
Without coming through a birth canal, are you saying?
Yep.
Through a female body?
Yeah, yeah. You can materialise a form.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, any spirit above the 7th sphere can do that, and even spirits below. Who's heard of Anastasia? Who's read some of the... She's a 5th sphere spirit at the time of the writing who materialised a form, right? So you can materialise a form, right, on Earth. And so, but I chose to not do that because what that would do was actually worsen people's beliefs about myself. You follow me?
I hear what you're saying, but I'm not sure that I agree with your reasoning.
I know you don't agree with my reasoning.
The reason I don't is because I have a very close personal friend who has actually incarnated twice, not through the birth canal, and I utterly know that this is the case.
Right.
And she doesn't have these kinds of issues. She chose, you know...
Yeah, but you're saying that I need to make the same choices that she's made.
I'm not saying that you need to make the same choices,
Aren't
but
you?
I'm just... your reason for saying that you came through was that you felt you wouldn't be believed.
No, not at all.
Or that you wouldn't be able to have the same impact on people.
Certainly. Definitely would not be able to have the same impact. So what do I want to teach you? I don't want to teach you that I'm different to you. I want to teach you that I'm exactly the same as you.
Yes.
I want to teach you that you know, the only difference is be open and willing to experience all of your own emotions and pray for love.
Yeah.
And the other things I want to teach. How am I going to teach you that if I don't live it?
Well...
Because I didn't live it in the 1st century.
Okay. I mean, it's not a teaching that I haven't heard before. I've also been to the Oneness University. They teach it there. This other being that I'm telling you about teaches the same thing and lives it. I've lived with her. She certainly experiences emotions, but it's how she experiences them that I learn from, and that is different. And she also is love, totally love. And certainly I see her teaching those things very effectively and lovingly with people. And I'm sure you do too. I'm not wanting you to think that I am criticising or implying your criticism, but I felt that I needed to have some sort of understanding of that because...
Yeah, but see, I don't need you to believe who I am.
Of course you don't.
And in the end, it will become clear whether I am who I'm saying I am or not.
Yeah.
All right? And all I'm doing is telling you right now what my experience has been, that's all. All right? And I know for certain that there has never been another reincarnation since I was reincarnated. From before I was reincarnated.
If you need to re-experience all of these things again in order
I didn't need to.
Well, if you chose to do that in order for us to be able to believe you?
No.
Or to recognise?
No. It's so that I can demonstrate my love for you, and so that I can demonstrate what you also need to do if you want to become at one with God. I can physically demonstrate it.
Do you have to be Jesus though, in particular? Like
No. There's 14.
Just AJ and just be AJ?
But
And do
no,
the same thing,
I am.
say the same thing, because you have the Jesus factor out of it, and you could be that.
But I am who I am.
But
And if I am going to remain in harmony with my relationship with God, I need to admit, not only to myself but also to you, who I am.
do you think, though, that it's necessary for it to say that, really, even because we probably could be Melchizedek or Joseph or whoever else we wanted to be.
No, it's not about who I wanted to be. I certainly don't want to be Jesus. At the moment, I certainly don't want to be. It's just who I am. Like, one of the very first emotions I've had to deal with is uh-oh, and I'm going to have to say that I'm Jesus. And that took me 8 months of emotional processing to actually come to terms with being able to do that. Because I knew that all of you would have these reactions, right? These reactions of, but you don't have to say you're Jesus to teach these things.
But AJ,
Yeah.
I could probably happily sit and listen to you talk and teach the way you're teaching, very comfortably, very openly.
So why are you not
Whether
comfortable?
or not you told me you were Jesus.
But you're not comfortable with me telling you you're Jesus.
Well,
The truth is you're not comfortable. Right now the emotion inside of you is you are not comfortable with me saying it. Same goes with yourself.
Well, that's probably true.
How many of you don't feel comfortable with me saying it?
And it's not anything.
It's okay.
The reason for me is that there's a lack of consonance in the way I believe it, and you're explaining that to me now, which is why I asked the question. With Jesus, as I understand him to be,
But this is part of the problem, is that
someone who isn't able to love themselves is grappling with
yeah, I know.
issues
This
of
is
love.
part of the
That's-
problem, is that you all have misconceptions of me. All of you. All of you have misconceptions of the truth as well. You all think that somehow, like, you don't understand this soul damage thing that goes on at reincarnation, for example. Here, you don't feel it here in your heart. You don't realise the truth of it yet. That's okay. I'm just saying, this is what's actually happened. You don't have to believe any of it, but you will come to believe it, I can assure you, down the track. Now, I know that might sound arrogant, but I'm not being arrogant. What I'm just saying...
This is something I've actually had described to me before. I'm not having an issue with that.
You've had described people entering from the 22nd sphere into a split soul union state to come down to earth. You've never had that said to you
maybe
before.
Maybe not exactly, but I mean much of what you teach. Maybe not this structure in the same sense, but in other words.
Of course, a lot of truth.
Talk of spheres, the Indians talk of lokas.
Of course.
Talk of, much of it is the same.
Of course.
In a different language. I have heard it.
So, of course that's going to be the case, isn't it?
I don't have an issue with it. I absolutely don't have an issue with what you teach.
But you do have an issue with me.
No.
Emotionally, yes, you do.
No, I just had a question. I had a question which you've answered. See, I think you get quite defensive because you want people to reject the idea.
Do you feel I'm being defensive? No. Who's being defensive? Who do you feel is being defensive? See, how do you know my emotions if you're the one experiencing the emotion? See, I don't feel defensive.
I think I asked a question that a number of other people wanted answered as well.
Yes.
About how Jesus could grapple with issues of love.
And I've answered it.
Yes.
But not to your satisfaction.
No, that's fine, because the question, then what came up over there was something quite different.
Yeah, but the point is that the answer isn't to your satisfaction. Emotionally, the answer isn't to your satisfaction. And there's a reason inside of you why that answer is not to your satisfaction. And that's because of some expectations you have of Jesus and what you believe Jesus to be.
Yeah,
and it's not who I am.
The question came from my belief that Jesus was someone who was I've experienced what I believed had been a physical connection with Jesus in a very powerful way, and it was overwhelmingly full of love. And I see you as a loving person too. But my question, and I guess it came from the intellect, was how then are you still grappling with self-love? As I said, you've explained that.
But not to your emotional satisfaction.
Well, you know, maybe I just need a little bit more time to.
Yeah, don't worry about what I'm saying. I'm just saying I know that it's not to your emotional satisfaction, right? So while I've said all of this to you, it doesn't mean you're going to believe it until you experience it. And this is the case with everything I'm saying to you. All of this at the moment is just intellectual thoughts entering you through your ears, interpreted through your emotional state, whatever that state is, and entering your heart, right? This is all, everything I'm saying to you is like this. Every single thing you're hearing from me is a thought being transmitted through your ear, translated from language into feelings through your emotional filter, whatever your emotional filter is. Now, many of you have had a personal experience with Jesus emotionally. And yes, I am capable of doing that. It's just you don't understand that at the moment, right? You don't even know that you're capable of doing that, right? You're capable of interacting with other people emotionally without being present. You are capable of that totally. You don't know that, many of you yet, right? Some of you maybe understand that, but you don't know it. But those things are all possible and will continue to be possible. That doesn't change the fact that the person standing right in front of you is who is saying he is, right? Even though you may not believe it.